Hey guys, today is the 1st of January 2011, and I am going to go ahead and start my book, my new project that I've been wanting to do. Um, Sometimes I might skip around because it is kind of hard to just read it off by memory and not have an organized sheet saying, exactly what I want to talk about. But there's some there are going to be some things that I leave out because they're a little too personal or something that I don't feel that I need to share. But um, I have been through a lot, and I want to try to make this long but short and able, in order for it to be worth watching for and for you to keep watching. So, I'm going to start with my childhood. I grew up with my cousins. My cousins were pretty much my sisters because I didn't have any siblings at the time. My mom and dad separated when I was 3 years old, and my mom was a traveling nurse, and my dad worked on night shifts, so he slept during the day and worked at night, so I didn't hardly ever get to see him very much. Um, but my grandparents, they owned several properties, and one of the ones that I remember growing up in most of the time was one that was located on the river. And it was a white house, and it had white vinyl siding on it, and it was a pretty big yard. Our driveway was at a slope, and I'll tell you why I'm telling you that now. I'll tell you that in a little bit. But I used to have so much fun in the house. Our backyard was right on the river, and we had a boat ramp, and we had the boat lift with a long dock, and we had this huge tree that sat back in the right hand side of our yard, and it had a big hole near the bottom of the tree where a bunch of ducks would live at. It was really neat. And I remember my cousin and I used to go out there in a little garden and plant stuff with my grandmother, and we had a lot of good memories in that house. But anyway, I remember one time when my cousin and I were out playing in the back, and she wanted to walk down the boat ramp. Well, anybody knows about a boat ramp. It is very slippery once, the algae will sit on the concrete. So she decides to walk down it, and she slid right into the water. And we were very young, and she could not swim at that time. So it was pretty scary for me. I got up on the dock, and I was trying to pull her in. Finally, I think after about 10 or 15 minutes of pulling, I finally got her up to the dock, and I think we were both crying. We were so scared and just relieved that she was okay. And that was, I don't know why my grandfather had huge boulders of concrete, like a piled up really high in our backyard, but my cousin and I used to love playing on there. We used to, king of the world, we're standing on top of a bunch of rocks. My grandfather would get so mad that we were up there playing. He used to yell at us all the time, "Get down before you hurt yourself." But I went to elementary school over there in that area, and my cousin and I, being only 6 months apart, we were in the same school together, and we used to walk to school, and when we would come home, our grandmother used to always have some kind of treat for us. My favorite were, she used to take orange soda and put popsicle sticks in it inside of a cup, and it would be like a slushie when we got home, or a popsicle. It was the best. I love that. And the reason why I was telling you about this slope driveway is because one day I was skating, and I was skating up and down the driveway, and when I was going down the driveway, I couldn't stop. So, the only thing that stopped me was the garage door. Thank God the garage door was there, because who knows what would have happened, but I busted my front tooth. Yeah, my front tooth broke in half, so the bottom part of my front tooth is fake. Thanks to me. Good job. One day, I remember my cousin and I, we were sitting in my aunt's truck, and it was a stick shift. No, it wasn't. I don't know. We were acting like we were driving, and I think I accidentally put it in neutral, and the truck started rolling forward, and we smashed into the gate. My grandfather was furious. Didn't hurt the truck, but it did leave a nice little indentation in the gate, and it wouldn't shut or open anymore. It was pretty bad. And let's see what else happened in the house. It was nonstop. It was always something. My cousin and I would always find trouble no matter what. But I remember we were probably about 8 years old when we moved into another property that my grandfather owned. And on this property, it's 10 acres, and there is a house that's really small. I think maybe 600 square feet, and that is what my mom and her 4 sisters grew up in. So there was 6 people living in this 600 square foot home, and I think it was 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom, a living room, and a small kitchen. Well, my grandfather ended up leaving that there and building onto it, making, I think it's 2,800 square feet now. It's huge. The bathroom is bigger than any bedroom that I've ever had. It is humongous, but no central heat and air, so we had to suffer through that. But my cousin still lived with us there, and on the 10 acres, it was really neat. My mom lived next door, my aunt lived behind us, and then behind that was my other aunt, and my cousin Heather, her mom lived back there. So regardless if we weren't in the same house together, we were always together. We had a trampoline and a swimming pool, and behind her house was a junkyard, and oh my gosh, I wish it was still there. We used to have so much fun. My cousin and I, we would go out into the junkyard, and we would find cars that had keys in them, because they left all the keys in the car back then, and it was really cool. We would find the cars that had the keys in them. Most of them would run, so we ended up finding 2 cars, and we were going around, and it was nothing but dirt out there, and when it rained, these puddles were just huge. So we would ride through the mud and the big holes, and that's how I pretty much learned how to drive. Both of us did, and I'll never forget the one time we hit a car. Oh my gosh. No one found out, I don't think. I don't know. But anyway, it was pretty crazy. I wish it still was there. But my grandfather still lives in the same house with the 10 acres. And he does plan on selling it one day, which would really break my heart. But, let's see. We used to play out in the road, and there used to be a lot of kids around there that we would play with, and one of them, there was 2 boys that my cousin and I were always hanging out with. They were our best friends, and at the end of our road, there was a dirt road, and it went straight back into the woods, and I think only 2 people lived back there. So we used to take the 4-wheeler and go riding back there in the woods and ride for hours and hours and hours, and horses and everything else. We had plenty of stuff to do, and it's a shame that you can't do that kind of stuff anymore, because I feel like my daughter's really missing out on a lot, because there's just so much to do back then, and now you can't do anything without getting in trouble. But let's see, another big event that happened when I was that age. Let me think. Oh, my cousin and I, we snuck out one night and we went and hung out with a bunch of guys and partied and had fun. And I remember I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna call my mom, let her know that I'm okay, and I'll be home later. Well, she called my dad and told my dad that, yeah, Dad wasn't home, and he was furious. So she told me when I called her that I needed to call him right away. So I called him, and he asked me where I was at, and I refused to tell him because I knew that he would hurt somebody. So he kept on, and I was like, well, if you're going to pick me up, I will be walking down the side of the road. So my cousin and I, we started walking, and my dad found us and picked us up, and I made my cousin sit in the middle because I was scared to death what he might do. But I should have sat in the middle, because then he couldn't have reached me as good, because as soon as I got in, he looked at me and said, what were you thinking? And he just whack right beside the head, and that was pretty frightening. But we used to do so much crazy stuff. Being as young as we were fearless. Our younger cousin had a go-kart, and we used to ride it all the time. And one day, I don't know why, but we decided to put helmets on, acting like we were race car drivers. And we were playing chicken with our grandfather's semi-truck that was parked. That was pretty interesting, because my younger cousin, I think she's 3 years younger than us, and we were playing chicken. She was driving, and she's pretty good at playing chicken, because she sure did not turn that wheel. Boy, she kept on going. She went straight into the front of my grandfather's truck, and I just remember both of our helmets going clank, clank, clank. We hit heads so hard. Oh my gosh, man, we used to have so much fun. But that is all that I'm going to share with you today, because once I do my next video, it's going to have my preteen years in it, and I want to start there, getting into my teen pregnancy and stuff like that. So I hope you guys had a great new year, and I hope you are all enjoying my vlogs. And if you have any comments or anything, please let me know. If this is too boring, you don't want to hear about it, or if you want me to continue, please let me know, because I don't want to be doing this for nothing. I really love sharing everything. I feel like, I can help some people, some teenagers, and, I might be able to shed some light on someone that has been through the same thing, or, if you have been through the same thing, what have you done to make your life work, or what are you struggling with? So please keep me updated. Please keep posting comments and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss anything. And I will be back tomorrow to let you know the rest of this, well, not the rest of the story, but some more of the story, because I definitely have a lot to share. So you guys have a great night, and I will see you later. Bye.